By order of His Most Holy Majesty, the God Emperor of Terra, sequestered inquisitorial dossiers, authorized persons only. Case file 44241F, JL3, KBU. Please enter your authority code. Validating. Thank you, Inquisitor. You may proceed. Classification. Primary intelligence level. Clearance. Obsidian. Encryption. Cryptox version 2.6. Date 337.m41. Author Inquisitor Javez Thysser. Ordo Xenos. Subject: a matter for your urgent consideration. Recipient: Lord Inquisitor Felbas Alessandro Rorken, Inquisitor High Council Officio, Scarus Sector, Scarus Major. Salutations, Lord. In the name of the God Emperor, hallowed be his eternal vigil, and by the high lords of Terra, I commend myself, your highness, and hope I may speak plainly in confidence of a delicate matter. To begin generally, my work on Vogel Passionata is now complete, and my noble duty to the great Inquisition of mankind discharged successfully. My full documented report will follow in a few days, once my servants have finished compiling it, and I trust that your highness will find it satisfactory reading. To summarize, for the purpose of this brief missive, I am proud to declare that the malign influence of the so-called Weirdkin has been expunged from the hive cities of Vogel Passionata, and the inner circle of that obscene xenophile order broken forever and put to cleansing flame. Their self-proclaimed messiah, Gaethon Richter, is himself dead by my hand. A matter, however, has arisen from this. I am troubled by it and unsure to the best course of action. For this reason, I am writing you, Highness, in the hope of receiving guidance. Richter did not go without a fight, as you might expect. In the final bloody throes of the battle, as my combined forces stormed his fastness beneath the main hive, he called forth to oppose us a being of dreadful power. It slaughtered 19 of the Imperial Guardsmen assigned to my purge team, as well as Inquisitor Blukas, interrogators Faroline and Seamtol, and Captain Ellen Ossel, my pilot. It would have slain me too, but for the strangest mischance. The being was an unholy thing, made like a man, but gleaming with an inner light. Its voice was soft, its touch was fire. I believe it was a demon host of unfathomable power, with the most vile propensity for spite and cruelty. My report will recount in detail the particular abominations this being subjected to Seamtol and Ossel before it destroyed them. I will spare you those dreadful facts here. Having disposed of Blukas, it cornered me on an upper landing in the fastness as I was penetrating the inner sanctum of the Weirdkin Messiah. My weapon did not harm it, and it laughed gleefully as it threw me backwards down the length of a staircase with a casual flick of its wrist. Dazed, I looked up as it descended toward me, unable to conceive of a defense against it. I believe I may have clawed around to find my fallen weapon. The gesture caused it to speak. I report the words exactly. It said, "Don't worry now, Grigor. You are far too valuable to waste. Indulge me. Just a little scar to make it look authentic." Its talons tore across my chest and throat and ripped away my rebreather mask. The wounds will heal, they tell me, but they were deep and excruciating. The being then paused as it saw my face properly for the first time, free from the mask. Dreadful dark anger flared in its eyes. It said, "Forgive me, Highness, but this is the fact of it." It said, "You are not Eisenhorn. I have been tricked." I believe that it would have killed me there and then, but for the frontal assault of the Adeptus Astartes Aurora chapter, which tore into the hall at that precise moment. In the mayhem, the being fled, though I cannot even now say how. Whatever the terrifying strength of the Astartes, this thing was 100-fold more powerful. Later, on his knees, with my weapon to his head, seconds before his execution, Gathan Richter begged for Cherubale to return. He wailed he could not understand why Cherubale had abandoned him. I believe he was speaking of the demon host. "I trust your Highness can see my trouble, mistaking me for another of our kind, an unimpeachably worthy example, I might add. This thing spared my life. It seemed to me, indeed, that it did so with prearranged connivance. Inquisitor Grigor Eisenhorn is highly regarded, numerously honored, and justly praised as an example of all that is good, strong, and dogmatic about our brotherhood. However, since this circumstance, I have begun to wonder, to fear that. I feel I cannot say what I wonder or fear, but I thought I should know of this, and know it soon. It is my belief that the Ordo Malleus should be informed, if only as a precaution. I feel I cannot say what I wonder or fear. I hope and pray this matter will be found empty of truth and consequence. But as you taught me, sir, it is always better to be sure. Sealed as my true word by this my hand on the 276th day of the year 337.M41. The Emperor protects. Your servant, Thysser. Message ends. So I love me some Eisenhorn. I have told you before, this is the book that got me into it. This is how Warhammer came into my life. I'm going to read, going forward, some very specific chapters out of Eisenhorn. Also going to be returning to The Hobbit. Still reading Fabius Bile. As you can see, I am in a hotel room because I have a job that makes me travel. So I am, just recording when I get a chance. But that letter from one Inquisitor to a High Inquisitor about an Inquisitor is really inquisitive. I'm sorry. Eisenhorn is such an interesting character because his arc is so glorious. He is an Inquisitor who's held in the highest regard, as noted by the one who has written this letter. Eisenhorn is beyond reproach. We love us some Eisenhorn. Why this demon calling Eisenhorn's name? Eisenhorn, why does this demon know you? The people want to know, Eisenhorn, what is on my face? Glitter. Why does this demon know you? So, backing up for those of you who are new or to the Warhammer world, this is a really good book to start with because, I mean, this one's a little terrifying. Or if you don't want to be terrified, don't start with this one. It's good, but it's terrifying. But you don't have to know all of the Warhammer lore to get into this one. Well, it's not just a book, it's 3 books, it's an omnibus. But the story of Grigor Eisenhorn is a really interesting character arc. The Inquisitors are, for lack of a better term, the religious police of the Warhammer 40k world. When the Emperor is entombed on the golden throne of Terra, forever may he reign, blah, 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 blah. The Emperor, who was all anti-religion, unwittingly becomes religion. So when he turns into the shell of a man that is supported by 1,000 people being sacrificed every day to the golden throne so that his psychic beacon may reach across the Astronomicon, it's a lot of big words in Warhammer. There is the Inquisition that is set up. And actually, when you go back into the Horus Heresy, you can actually see the seeds of the Inquisition being planted with Malcador the Sigillite and the flight of the Eisenstein, when those who suffered under Horus and saw his treachery made it to Terra and were like, Emperor, there's a thing happening. And Malcador the Sigillite, who's the right hand of the Emperor, intercepts them and starts the process of basically creating the Inquisition then. But fast forward 10,000 more years, the Inquisition isn't just, oh, hey, y'all behave. Now that the Emperor himself is the official religion, worship, God figure of the Imperium of Mankind, it's not optional. We don't like the Emperor. We don't just serve the Emperor. We worship the Emperor in the Warhammer 40k universe, and worship is compulsory. Compulsory? That's not a word. Compulsory. Ooh, English major, what? One must worship the Emperor. And the Inquisitors in our different orders of Inquisition, which are Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus. Eisenhorn himself being of Ordos Xenos, meaning they hunt the alien. They hunt the being that is not human. If it's not human, it must die. If you're consulting with that isn't human, you must die. Then there's Ordos Malleus, that which goes against the Imperium, seeking out those that would fight against what the Imperium of Mankind stands for. And then there's the heretic, those who disavow the Emperor. So there's a lot to the Inquisition, much like with the Space Marines. So my whole computer fell off the desk. But where was I? So much like with the Space Marines, those who are going to be in the Inquisition are chosen at a very young age, and they are put through the ringer of religious indoctrination into the Ordos they're going to be a part of, and then they are basically supposed to be as loyal as it's going to be. If an Inquisitor falls to the Xenos, the Malleus, or the Heretic, if they are to fall, the other Inquisitors come after you. But here's what's interesting about Eisenhorn. He, as stated in the letter, is one of the most dogmatic Inquisitors that there is. He is one who tries to adhere to the ideals of the Imperium above all else. Like, there is no gray area. It's all black or white to someone like Eisenhorn, until he finds himself in need of powers that are beyond that of a normal man. And he starts to open himself up to the idea that maybe some of these things that we're anti could help us. And maybe if I just use them and not tell anybody, it'll be okay. And that's where that demon Cherubal comes into play. He manages to make a pact with that demon, and that demon becomes a type of servant to him for a period of time. And the other Ordos find out about it because that demon's looking for him. And in the attempt to find him, is attacking the wrong Inquisitor. When he discovers it, he just blurts out, "You're not Eisenhorn." And so this other Inquisitor hears it, and why would a demon host know the name of an Inquisitor? Because the Inquisitors aren't supposed to be consulting with the Xenos, with chaos, with anything that is anti-Imperium of Man. That's just not supposed to happen. So for this demon to even know his name, big trouble in Little Imperium. So I want to dig deeper into Eisenhorn because it's a really interesting character study. What makes somebody turn against what they believe to be true? And it's not even, it's beyond belief with the Inquisitors. It's not just that they believe stuff to be true, it is the only truth. And because they believe these things to be the only truth, there is no room for right or left. There is no room for discourse or debate. It's all they are and all they think about. And when one turns, who they turn hard, and you, and then they come after you. So we're gonna get into Eisenhorn for a while. Thank you all for getting me over 500. Don't worry, if you're still clicking and subscribing, you get to be in the randomized contest when I get back home this weekend, because all my things are still in U-boxes. So my original prize, I can't get to it at the moment. So I'm just going to hop myself down to the old little Warhammer figure store, since that's what I've talked about the most, and find something really cool to give out into the randomizer. And I will reach out to whoever wins via the YouTube direct messages. I ain't doing that Instagram direct messaging. That gets real weird real fast. So just through the YouTube direct messaging, I'll find you. I'll announce it. Reach out to me. So I will put it in the randomizer when I get back home this weekend. Because work, man. I don't know where there's a... Well, where I am, I could probably find a place. But yeah, I know where the places are where I live. So, anywho, thank you all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And now the push is to get to 1,000. I have something really cool for when we get to 1,000. You're gonna like it. And someone actually gave it to me. I can't believe they gave me this thing. But it's a really cool figure, and I want it to go to a good nerdy home. So hopefully it's yours. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.